Take the leap, learn to fly. You're never going to learn to fly if you're standing on the ground. So taking that chance, I think, is the key. Yeah, you're never going to regret it. The big thing with health and fitness is you're investing in yourself.
Hi guys, what is up? Today's podcast was so cool. I had Nathan onto the show and he's such a cool dude. Today we literally talked about all things health, relationships, how to get extremely motivated, how to be a really positive person, how to be your best, most authentic self. And Nathan shared all of his secrets and insights into those things, and he shared some really awesome stories as well. It was an absolute pleasure to have him on. He's such a stud in real life and a stud on his YouTube and Instagram and stuff as well. God damn, such a good dude. So if you're interested in any of my coaching or want to get to know anything more about what I have available, please just head to my Instagram, Corey Boutwell, or to my website, CoreyBoutwell.com. And if you'd like to see any of my discount links, just see any of the links below. Everything is linked there anyway. So if you do like this podcast and you get anything out of it, or this YouTube video that you're watching, please like, share, subscribe, hit that for me. That would be absolutely fantastic. And we'll see you on the inside, guys. Nathan, man, thank you so much for coming onto the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, all good. So, man, what are you most passionate about at the moment? Where's things happening for you? Where are you focusing your time?
My time is split pretty evenly across all of my life pursuits. So I've got Milestone Strength, which is my online coaching business, and that takes a big chunk of my time. I've got my own personal brand, which is just the Nathan brand, with my ambassador roles with a few companies. And then I'm currently just getting ready to launch my sunglass company, which has been 2 years in the making. Very, very slow process, but we're on the final yards now, which is really exciting.
Really? What's that looking like?
It's looking like we're just waiting on the final samples to arrive, hopefully in the next week. Because if we've gone through, 4 or 5 rounds of sampling to make sure everything's refined, and then packaging and all the stuff that no one cares or thinks about that you put way too much time and effort into. That's the next step. That's finer detail stuff. So when people get it, there's that little journey from seeing it online to feeling it in your hands and unwrapping and all that stuff. A lot of time and effort goes into that. So
yeah, that's where you get to be creative and kind of figure out all the other good stuff, right?
I've been able to be creative the whole time. I've done the designing and all that sort of stuff. It is entirely my idea, my baby here. But this is just that extra stuff that me and my business partner, he's very much the same sort of person as I am. So we don't really clash in anything. So we kind of get to go, what about this? What about this? I thought this would be cool, and just play with stuff. So
yeah, dude, so good. So
yeah,
dude, one thing that I notice about you is you're so authentic with everything that you do. And a lot of people that I work with or listen to, sometimes trying to be really authentic for yourself can be a little bit difficult. You can get a little bit confused and stuff. I'd love to know what was sort of the things that maybe conversations that you had with yourself, or how you really just leaned in to be the most authentic person that you are.
I started in the social media game before it was a thing. And that's not a humble brag. I'm not trying to be I did it before everyone else. Yeah. But it did happen to be when Instagram started. I, within a year or two, had a bigger following on the platform than most people did, because I actually had a fashion blog, which was my other hobby. And that blog had a big following and people like that. So when Instagram started taking off, I kind of already had a bit of an audience. So I got to grow as social media grew, and it was just me being me and figuring it out. I wasn't an online personality to start with. I was just myself sharing my life. And as things grew, I just happened to have an audience that came along with it. So I wasn't ever really having to navigate an area that was unfamiliar, because the whole thing was unfamiliar for everyone, if that makes sense. I think that probably helped with authenticity. Just people like me because I'm just showing what I like and what I'm doing. Why would I try and be anything other than that?
Yeah, dude, you give I think personally just view, it's you give people permission to really be themselves. Because even when I'm because I've been following you for a while, every time I watch some of your stories, look at your posts, and even the awesome clothes and stuff that you wear, even what you're wearing now is awesome. I'm oh
Thanks,
man, I can wear that too. That's
sick. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that's I think is one of my big things. I want it to be aspirational, but still attainable in as many ways as I could. So training wise, I'm probably out of most people's perceived areas of what they can achieve, because my job is to train. I get to do all those things. I get to eat and train and rest as it's my job. Whereas in all other areas of my life, I want to make sure that people feel like, oh yeah, that like, I could be doing that too. I can wear those outfits, or I could, I don't know, like act that way, or whatever it is they want to do. Because yeah, everyone has the same opportunities. It's just what they do with them.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And like, what does health mean to you, man? Because like you're pretty well rounded with all the stuff that you do, and obviously you got a phenomenal physique. So, like,
Thank you.
what does it like, sort of like mean to you in terms of health, and what are some of like your biggest priorities to, maintain it?
Just being active. Like health is being active in both like physical and a mental sense. So I've never necessarily tried to be just a bodybuilder or just doing like a CrossFit or just like calisthenics. I've done bits of everything, which probably makes me like a jack of all trades and a master of none. But I prefer to be more holistic towards training and health rather than like being solely focused. I think I'd probably burn out a bit more. I think people do burn out when they focus too hard and fast on one certain thing. But by kind of utilizing all different training modalities and styles and different diet styles, I've been able to kind of keep the process exciting and fun. And after 8 years, I'm still as passionate about it as I ever was. So
yeah, dude, especially seeing all the stories and stuff, man. I see those neon lights making all those posts look so fantastic every time.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's just
dude,
me trying to be creative and mix it up. Instagram's hating me at the moment. So I'm like, what can I do to make my content stand out a bit more? So bought some neon lights.
Yeah. Well, it works, man. It's good stuff. Why did you
Thank you.
originally, get into the gym? Like, what was your, main reason for being like fit and healthy?
I wanted to have a good body. It was a purely aesthetic thing to start with. I joined a gym when I was 25, so I was pretty late to the game.
Mhm.
I was always like very active playing sports and stuff growing up, but I hadn't never like trained for like physique wise until I was 25. And a friend joined a gym and he's like, oh, it's really cool and like pretty like welcoming sort of place. And so I went along with him a few times and just instantly got the bug for not just training, but the time it meant with friends for me. Like that was training with my friends, was a time that we'd hang out and work on something together. And yeah, it's at what started as being a very like aesthetic pursuit, end up being just like, that's my fun time. That's what I got to catch up my friends and look after myself. And I learned how to train better and eat better on the side. But yeah, what originally started as very aesthetic ended up being more of a mental health thing for me.
Yeah. Seems like, it's a very good social container where you can like spend some time to better yourself, which is
Yeah,
really
dude.
cool.
And like now I train by myself most of the time purely because it is my job and I have a gym that I train and create content out of. But I still love my friends come and train with me because it's good catch up time and you're doing a positive thing for yourselves in like working out. You can also hang out and talk and kind of encourage each other. So yeah, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, it's cool. So personally, like a bit of a deeper question, what do you
Hit
think are
me.
like some of the like biggest hurdles that you have had to overcome?
You know what? I'm very much like a happy-go-lucky ray of sunshine when it comes to life.
Mhm.
I tend to focus on the positives far more than negatives. So while I've had some hardships in my life, I've never made them a focus. I've always
Nice.
been focused on the good things that come with it. So my parents splitting up was obviously a thing that affects most people. And that happened when I was like later in my teen years. It actually didn't affect me as heavily as it might for other people because rather than focusing on that, I end up just like building actually a better relationship with both my parents separately and then focusing on work. So I was working full time at the time and just focusing on that rather than like, oh, this thing that I've known and loved is breaking apart. It actually ended up being probably a blessing in disguise. Um, yeah, I think that my dad had a saying growing up called attitude is everything. And I hated it growing up because I was like, oh, stop saying it. But it's so true. Like, I think your attitude towards life is you get out what you put in. So if you go into things with a positive can-do attitude, you're going to get a more positive experience because of that. If you go into things with a negative, woe is me, this is tough, you're probably going to have that same experience. So I tend to go in everything with a really positive attitude. Even if it's something I'm terrified of or nervous about, I go in being like, I'm going to make the most of this. I'm going to have a good experience. And 99% of the time, that is the case.
Man, I'd love to know your inputs, man. Because like obviously inputting all this good stuff and how like you talk to yourself.
I'm not sure I
Like,
understand.
Oh, my Siri's getting involved here, sorry.
Siri wants a piece of the podcast too.
He's always trying to get on the conversation.
Like, damn Siri. Yeah, so man, I'd love to know like sort of, any inputs that you have or any self-talk that you have to sort of keep yourself. Like obviously attitude is everything, is like a saying that you obviously say to yourself. But is there any others that sort of just keep you like operating at like a higher frequency?
No, I'm not good at this. Like I'm not someone, I don't read self-help books. I don't watch inspirational stuff. I find most of the people out there that are preaching like self-help and how to be better, I can't relate to in the slightest. People love David Goggins and I can't stand him. I find it just to be too in your face and too like, you got to get in that herd, lucky man, you can do that. And that hasn't been my case. And I wouldn't want to kind of preach that to other people. And maybe my way is not for everyone as well. I think there's no one way to get to self-actualization or self-help or to your own happiness. Everyone's journey is different. For me, it was just about choosing to be the exact opposite of that. Like,
oh, I love that.
Go and do it. Like,
I'm
mine was more just like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to go and have fun and say yes to opportunities. Saying yes is probably my biggest thing that I've done over the years, is just say yes to opportunities that have come to me, because they've then opened up other doors. And even if it hasn't been an overly positive experience, I've probably learned something from it that's then enabled me to do something better next time. And again, I think that comes back to that attitude of being like, sure, I could focus on this thing bombed and didn't happen the way I want it to, or I can use that as like a building block to do it better next time.
Yeah.
And I think you're a kind of a product of the people around you. So I've surrounded myself with like really good people. My fiance is amazing and supportive, and she really helps and encourages me, and gives me ideas of different things to try and things that she suggests. My parents are both super, super supportive and amazing people that help me in everything I need. My best friend and my business partner with Milestone Strength is the smartest dude you'll ever met. And I learn from him every day. So my training and coaching and diet side of things is just forever getting better because of that. So I think it's the people you surround yourself with that help build you into who you are. And I think I've chose the right people.
Dude, must be nice.
Oh man, but like the thing, like I'm a bit old. I'm 33. Like I've gone through it. It's not just a thing that happened instantly. I've had times over the years where my friendship circles, I've changed friendship circles several times and picked and chose who I actually want to spend time with. And it's one of those things that you have to experience. You can't just get it right first time, and you shouldn't put that pressure on yourself to do it. Life is an experience, and you have to experience it in order to get kind of those results you want. And as long as you're paying attention to the journey and enjoying it along the way, then that's all you can ask of yourself.
Yeah, dude, so true, man. Because I love that, that's so positive in your mind. Is that what like motivates you like further? What gets you like,
I want to be better every day.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, I want to be better. Like in every way, I fail. I fail so often. Some days I'm not better than I was the day before, but in some way I want to improve on something I did the day before. It might be I'm better at communicating in my relationship. It might be I trained harder and I actually improved on something. I got a PB in a lift, or I ran a faster 5K, or I just got out in the sun a bit more and got more vitamin D that day than I did the day before. Or in some way, I want to be better than I was yesterday every day. And I'm also tirelessly thinking of things I can do to be more fun and active. My sunglass brands, because like I love sunglasses. I want to share that and I want to do it. I don't want to just promote other people's brands. I want, like, why not do it myself and maybe create something that's unique and individual to me? So that's why we're doing that.
Oh, dude, I love it. What, like, for you, so instead of, I'm just trying to figure out how to ask this question. It's like, how do you be a real good partner, like in your relationship? I'm super intrigued in that. Just like some things that like you personally do or think about to be
you
like.
You might want to ask Court, not me. She said nothing. He's useless. I just try and be supportive, and your partner should be your best friend. Like I try and have that relationship. When we first got together early on, I said that to her. I was like, yeah, you're my best friend. She's like, really? I was like, yeah, like that's what the relationship should be. I want you to be my best friend that you trust and you talk about everything with them. And there's nothing hidden. I'm like full transparency. And I think you also need to be always learning. Your relationship's never just done. You're always growing and evolving together. I think as long as you're open to that, then that's all you kind of can be. Support them, try and be an ear for them when you can, and if you can give advice in situations. Sometimes you need to learn to listen more than answer, and I struggle with that. I'm like a real problem-solving person, so I had to learn how to like sometimes just listen and don't give a solution, just listen because that's all they want.
I'm trying to fix
Yeah, dude, that's hard. I struggle with that because my thing is like, here's a problem, here's how we fix it. Sometimes she doesn't want that thing. It's just like, no, just like shut up and just listen to me. So
I got to talk about it first. And you're like, yeah, but if we just did it now, it'd be solved.
Fully, yeah, you relate to that.
Yeah, dude, big time.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Yeah, for
But
sure. Well, what are some of your like just getting back on the health train? What are
you
some of
hit
the
me.
things that like you really sort of prioritize on like a weekly or like a daily basis that like keeps you accountable?
I train. My program is like that's a non-negotiable.
Nice.
So sticking to the program, having a structured program is like a really big thing. Unless you're very like I consider myself well versed in the gym. I'm very comfortable. I can just go in and get a session done. But having a structured program to fall back on means that when your motivation's lacking, you've got habits to get you still in there. So my habit is following the program and sticking to it, and 5 days a week I'm going to do that thing. And so having that there keeps me accountable, and I stick to that. Same with the diet thing. If you've got something to follow a bit better, right now, I'm not following a diet. I'm just eating very intuitively and enjoying myself for a period because I don't really have anything to focus on. But when I have a goal, then that's part of it, sticking to the program and prepping the meals and eating at the right times and doing those things you need to do. Sleep is a big focus for me. I had to like your sleep hygiene for me is something I really lacked in. So I had to focus on, okay, cool, I need to get like a bedtime routine and focus on like what time I'm preparing myself, what time my phone's going down, and what supplements do I take, and all those things to make sure that I was sleeping the best I could because my body needed it. So I think it's setting those little habits. They're the things that kind of keep me accountable.
Oh, what do you do? What have you shifted into?
My sleep routine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You want to know my sleep routine?
Oh no, we got
So I've
that.
got it's a bit of a breakdown. So around we eat normally by 7:30. Around like 8, 8:15, I'll make myself some sleepy time tea, just like that rest easy. There's one brand, I can't remember what it's called, but like Sleep Well or something. I have that to like herbal tea to start winding down. Then I'll have a shower around 8:45, 9 o'clock. I normally have a long shower. Shower time's like my downtime. That's when I will catch up on all my DMs that I haven't read. I often take my phone in the shower and I read DMs and write back to things. I make thumbnails for YouTube. It's like a good little, I'm in there, hot water, comfortable, writing the things.
You can do
So
thumbnails on your YouTube in the shower, bro. That's an impressive skill. Goddamn.
yeah, man, I'm multitask, but that is my downtime. Like
Yeah.
do that. I'll have just before I shower, I'll have L-tryptophan, which is like tryptophan, sorry, tryptophan, which is like an amino acid in a lot of meat products. I have magnesium tablets. I've also got some ashwagandha gummies, which I have, and they're like my 3 combo before I brush my teeth, get them in, and then during that shower time, my body starts to relax and unwind. Get into bed. I normally have air conditioning on before we get to bed, so the room's like 19 degrees,
Yes.
nice and cool. And then we watch an episode of something I've watched a million times, so I don't have to focus on it. I can start like chilling out and sleep about half an hour later. So I'm normally asleep by like 10:30ish.
No, dude, I love that. How
Yeah,
do you best how do you best like challenge and stretch yourself?
I'm always up for challenges. Like I said, I say yes to things. So if something comes up, even if it's something I haven't done, I'll generally say yes to it as a fun thing to do. For example, a friend of mine was talking about he was reading about this art of the misogi. Have you heard of it before?
Haven't heard of that. What's the
So
misogi?
misogi is like a Japanese term. It's this like unachievable challenge. It's part of this like set yourself to do a challenge that you don't think you can do. That's a misogi. Misogi. Don't know how it's pronounced.
Sounds very
Um,
Ross Edgley.
yeah, Ross would be all over it. He'd know exactly what it's about.
Yeah.
But it's so like his examples. These guys, their thing was they wanted to walk a whole beach underwater holding a rock. So they picked up like a really big heavy rock and took turns, and they walked the entire beach. And that was the thing they didn't think they could achieve, and they did that. And my friend was like, I really love that idea. Push myself. I want to do a trail run. I want to run a trail for half marathon. And I was like, well, that's a pretty big trail run. He's like, I reckon, yeah, I want to build towards that. And I was like, okay, let's do it. He's like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I don't trail run, but sure, we can do that. So we looked at it and was like, let's do it in 2 months. We gave ourselves a few weeks to warm up for it. We did 2 trail runs in that time. And then we went to run a 25K trail run. And it was an awesome experience. It was so hard. Also, because we took 2 wrong turns, ended up running 33K instead of 25. But it was one of those things that you are so much like stronger than you think you are. You are so much more capable of things than you are. You just got to put yourself in that position to try it and do it. So he was worried he wouldn't be able to do 25, ended up doing 33. And I think by me being like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it. It allowed him to do that challenge. And it was a challenge for me too. So it was like a really cool experience. So I think going into things with like an open mindset and just like a can-do attitude kind of allows you to overachieve at some things. Yeah, say yes to opportunities. Just give it a go.
Do you have any other stories of like the past couple of years where that's happened for you and it's also been very fruitful?
Yeah, I did. The producers of Ninja Warrior reached out to me when they were first bringing that to Australia and said, "We're doing this. We think you'd be good at it. You're interested?" And I said, "Sure. I love the American Ninja Warrior TV show. Like, I have no experience in that, but yeah, it'd be fun." So I was supposed to be in New York for a fashion week, and I went and did that, and then came home and spent like 3 weeks training for Ninja Warrior. I think I'd never done before, and it was so much fun, man. I loved it. It was so cool. Like the actual training of it, going to like rock climbing gyms and bouldering gyms and different stuff, and like learning a new skill set was super fun. And then I get to have that experience of doing the show. And the first year was really, really cool. It was all about the course, and I met some amazing people and got to kind of have that shared experience. And then I went back and did season 2 and hated it because it was all about reality TV by that stage. It wasn't as like focused on the course, but that was throwing myself in and be like, yeah, why not? I'll do that. And it was sick. It was fun. It's a skill set I have now that I'm probably nowhere near as good as I was. I'm a lot heavier than now, but it was fun.
Part ninja.
Yeah, hell yeah. I want to be a ninja. Everyone wants to be a ninja when they're like a kid growing up, right?
Yeah, dude, for sure. What
Secret little ninjas.
Yeah, it's cool. Obviously, when you get to use your body like that, like recently I've just got into, like myself personally, instead of changing up, because like I compete in fitness competitions. So most of the time I do cardio, it's like stepper, walking, and then training. But recently I was like, I need to change this up or I'm going to like go crazy just doing the same stuff. I just started taking on swimming, actually running and looking into the like science, well, not so much the science, or the just accountability, like looking at all the times and different things. Like, oh, look at this, I'm getting better.
There's so much to it once you start doing it.
Dude, so much. And just like bike riding and stuff, and I have like this badminton place across the road. So I've been playing badminton a couple of times a week and we're getting really good at it. But like, just those, all those different things are like moving bodies, it's just feeling so fantastic, man.
Yeah. Have you played squash?
Dude, I love squash.
Squash I haven't
played it in a while, but
so hard, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, you get to go like, I feel like you get to like real unleash.
Fully, yeah. Unleash the beast.
Yeah, you let it all come out, that like inner masculine, just competitiveness.
But it's also, there's so much with it. Like my mum can run circles around me on the squash court because she knows how to play with like technique and skill, whereas I'm all like energy and power and trying to do it. I just lose every time.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's a cool way of keeping things mixed up. I like that.
What does, speaking on that, I just like mentioned masculinity. What does like masculinity mean to you, man?
It's a hard one. I feel like masculinity is being confident in yourself as a male. I think there's no trait that is necessarily masculine or feminine. I think people actually like associate like that machoism with being masculine and being a bloke, and I'd say that that'd be more like a rugged thing than a masculine thing. I think masculinity can be a pretty toxic thing at times, and I'm probably the opposite of that. Like people assume I'm gay quite often based on the fact that I'm very comfortable with myself and I wear the clothes I want to wear, and I try and be polite, and I'm well groomed most of the time. My hair's pretty long and unkempt right now, but normally I'm fairly neat and tidy, and that's just me presenting like the best version of me, which is not always seen as being a masculine thing, but I think it should be. I think a masculine thing should be just trying to be the best version of a male that you can be.
Yeah. And then
what do you think it is?
Yeah, well, for me, I think it's sort of being so authentic. It's literally touching on what you're saying. I think it's being so authentic within yourself and like truly just like believing in yourself, that it sort of, allows other people to be authentic within themselves is what I think it is. And just be understanding. The hard thing is
that's not necessarily a masculine thing though. Girls are traditionally feminine, obviously, feminine being the female version. And like a girl can do that too. I don't think it's necessarily a masculine thing. I think it's a really hard thing to define.
Yeah,
that's why I think the word rugged maybe works a bit better than masculine.
It does. And I think it's like just from like my point of view, I think it's a little bit sort of sad that a lot of dudes would think any sort of feminine stuff threatens their
Yeah, fully.
masculinity, when I
Yeah.
think, like personally, I think it charges it up like big time. So like
Yeah.
just in my own perspective in terms of like, okay, what does masculinity do? Not in terms of what it is, but what does it do? It's like, well, it's calm, presence. We strategize, we make plans, we figure out goals, and we try to achieve them. And it's very structured, when I believe feminine is more flowy. So
Yeah, right.
so I think that spending time to be flowy allows you to be more structured. That's
Yeah,
sort of
okay.
like my opinion on it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I would definitely classify myself as being more feminine than if it's that kind of case, because I'm not a person that plans highly in advance. I don't have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. I've never been like that. I'm very much like go with the flow, see the opportunities and take them as they come, which if you think that's been a feminine thing, then I would associate myself being way more feminine than that. But then people see, and I've got like a hairy chest and a beard and a big and muscly, people would kind of associate that with being a masculine traits. But I think I would identify personality wise as being more feminine
Yeah.
based on that.
Yeah, for sure. And you have like a good balance too, though, because as you mentioned, you said just beforehand with your gym program, you said it's very structured and you like having a structured gym program and you follow that. And like, obviously, you like your physique is phenomenal when you maintain it all the time. To have a physique like that, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort and a lot of time to keep it. So like you have to be really structured with diet, training, consistency, with all those things. So I'm just assuming maybe like that feminine part of yourself allows you to really crush all that masculine side of things.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So how do you think as well, just for like, especially the people who are listening? So if they're listening and they're just thinking like, okay, cool. So what are some of the things that, Nathan has sort of done to like invest in himself and to, it's not essentially make yourself better, but just like self-investment, like, cause you said you want to be better every single day. In terms of just like some practical tools or tips for people, if they're like, oh, how should I invest in myself? What would you encourage or recommend them to do?
I touched on sleep before.
Yeah.
I think that's a super important one. I use a Whoop to track that sort of stuff, which, I really like. People ask me why I wear 2 watches, but I wear an Apple Watch for communication and I wear the Whoop for tracking. So that tracks my overall strain for the day and then my rest. So I can kind of get a gauge of how well I slept or how much energy I expended that day in order to how much sleep I might need. That's like a really big important one for me that I utilize every day to kind of give myself a better understanding of that. I look at the weather every day. That's how I plan my days for like to get an idea of what I'm doing based on my outfit, on what I'm going to do. Because like I am a very like go-getter, make the most of every opportunity throughout the day. So if it's going to be crappy weather, I need to base things that are inside, out of the rain. If it's going to be good weather, I want to make sure that I get that sunshine in, get a bit of vitamin D. I touched on like saying yes to opportunities. I think that's a really big one. If someone says, hey, do you want to do this? I will try and do it most of the time. Sometimes I burn myself out by saying yes to too many things, but that's learning how to balance things a bit more. And that's something I'm still working on as a person. I need to learn how to like time myself better because mostly I'm like, yeah, I'll do that thing. And then I'll come straight to that and I'll be at this, then we'll do this later on. And sometimes I need to have downtime. I don't burn out that easy, but it is more like to be conscious of what Court wants to do. So we get some downtime together rather than me saying yes to doing things with people all the time. And I think, like I said, surrounding yourself with the right people. Invest in yourself by having the right people surround you. Focus on who brings you up and keeps you grounded as well. Those people are the ones you need to kind of keep yourself with, not just who's the most entertaining or who do you think's the coolest or who's going to go out and have the same taste in you, who's also going to make you a better person from being around them.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Very well said. Here's a question, a little bit on the deeper side of things. What do you think are some of the like emotions and feelings that you would like to experience before you die?
Oh, that's a great question. You know what? I don't know if there's much that I haven't experienced. There's things I want to continue experiencing.
Yeah.
I want to keep feeling like the endless love that I've got in my life. I feel truly loved by my family and by my partner and by my dog. So I want to keep having that. I want to keep experiencing that like sense of adventure. I want to keep going to new places and experiencing new things because I think that sense of wonderment and learning and breathing stuff in, that's a really cool experience. I think everyone should be chasing all the time. You don't want to get yourself stuck in a rut where you just know and expect everything. I think chasing that, even if it's just like you go for a walk every day, go for a different walk some days. Mix it up, experience new things. It doesn't have to be traveling the world. It can be those small things. Eat a different meal than you would normally get. I think that's important for the human experience is to have like different experiences variety is the spice of life. So I want to keep having new adventures.
What other feelings?
I don't know.
Specific
I don't
emotions?
know. It's hard. I don't really know what feelings I feel like I'm missing out on. Maybe there'd be something that comes and I like text you, oh, dude, I felt this. It was awesome. I didn't know I needed this. But off the top of my head, I can't really think of there's anything I'm constantly chasing. I feel like, yeah, adventure and love are the two big ones for me.
Cool. How do you get adventurous? Like for you, like where do you get your sense of?
Like I said, I try new things. I say yes to opportunities.
Yeah.
I put myself in situations where I probably am a little bit nervous or uncomfortable because I feel like I'm going to stretch myself out for that.
Have you got any stories of when you were really nervous for something?
Yeah. So a few years ago, Gymshark came and did a pop-up in Sydney. I actually talked about this on a call yesterday, but Gymshark came and did a pop-up in Sydney a few years ago, and they hadn't done one there, and it was going to be a big thing. A lot of big athletes around the world were coming out, and they were saying they kind of needed to get someone to host it. And they're like, we don't really know who we're going to get, who's going to like host the days, who's going to run the interviews. And someone had thrown my name out. It was like, why don't you get Nathan to do it? So not only was I doing the athlete thing where I do the meet and greets and say hi to people and do some demonstrations and stuff, I end up also jumping on the mic all day and coordinating and running things. And I interviewed like Ben, who's the CEO of Gymshark, and I interviewed like Chris Bumstead and Ryan Terry talking about the Olympia experiences with them. And I interviewed all the girls talking about like a big feminine chat and just me up on stage. And I'd never done that before. I'd never emceed, I never hosted, but coming into it, I was pretty nervous and being like, oh, I don't know what to expect. How am I going to go with this? But then I just gave it a go.
I'm sorry.
Siri, shut up. I just thought, yeah, I'll just like see what happens. And it was good. Like it was a really positive experience. And I feel like I did a good job. I was comfortable and I would definitely do it again. I've done it since then, been sort of like a lead person on those sort of situations. So yeah, I think throwing yourself in the deep end and learning how to swim is a really strong thing.
Yeah, especially when it's like so deep end like that, where it's like all on you on the mic.
Yeah.
Everyone there, like, oh God.
But I think also knowing that someone had recommended me probably gave me that confidence to go, well, if someone suggested it, then they must have faith in me to do it. So maybe they see something there that I was unaware of before myself. So that allowed me to have a bit more confidence going into it.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think? Like, I'm just smashing the questions at you.
Dude, yeah, it's fine.
In like, so for the upcoming year, besides really like launching the Sunnies and stuff, like personally, what are you most excited for?
Keep growing Milestone. We've got this amazing community online. Yeah, our app is.
I'd love to hear about it.
Oh yeah, let me sell to you. Let me sell my brand. Yeah, Milestone is me and my best mate. We grew up together. We went to preschool together. We've known each other since we were 4. He, as I said, he's the smartest guy I know. He's got a crazy amount of qualifications in everything from like sports science to psychology. So not only does he understand like here's how the body works, here's how the mind works with that. He is a genius, straight up genius. He and I run Milestone Strength together, which is a training platform online. We've got our own app and everything runs through that app where we have everything from like template-based programs to fully personalized based on your needs. We've coached everyone from someone who'd never trained before to several Olympic athletes in their own field working on different things. And we've currently got a couple of thousand clients around the world that are training with us to become better, fitter, healthier versions of themselves. We do training and nutrition through there. So we have like personalized meal plans with like recipe guides, full broken down like ingredient lists, shopping lists of what to get, broken into calories and macros. We've got like an exclusive Facebook group. So everything there is built to educate people to learn how to look after themselves physically a bit better. We also do a lot of stuff in mental health. Lane, being a psychologist, means that he actually has qualifications to help with that stuff. And mental health is something that I obviously preach about a fair bit on my channel and kind of mentor a few people in. And so we try to utilize that as well to kind of build this environment of people just bettering themselves.
Dude, you must be like so proud not only of yourself, but also everyone in the community as well.
Oh, it's the best, man. Nothing makes me feel better than seeing something like, oh, it's my 10th day in a row of doing this. I haven't stuck to a meal plan in years, or I didn't eat fast food for 6 months now, whatever it is that their goal is. Seeing people, one, achieving it, but also then having a community to share that with is so cool. Having like-minded people that are like, dude, we're all so proud of you. that's amazing. That's such a blessed opportunity that we've got, and something that's this weird little offset from my social platform that just wasn't expected, wasn't planned, and is just the most rewarding thing.
Oh man, I bet you must just love that so much. Sort of like Milestone would be like a baby for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it's something that I just want to keep. I feel guilty. Like I don't probably promote it as heavily as I should, because I don't like throwing things down people's throats. I want people to find them and be really interested in them. But it is something I'm so proud of. And I have so much confidence in the fact that we can change lives through it. So it's a really cool thing. So.
Dude, and the gym looks so good and so
Thank
clean.
you.
Every time I see stuff, I'm like, is that a cheeky big sauna in the back there too? And is that like?
Yeah, we have a sauna. Yeah. So Milestone HQ is something that we did during lockdown last year. We used to train at a gym. It was amazing. They were super supportive and let us do what we wanted to do. We could film and do whatever. But we realized during lockdown that if we wanted to better our content and be a bit more proactive in terms of helping and having a platform for people to follow, that we should just build our own space so we can film and create content out of whenever we want. So we did that. We built a gym, and there's just three of us.
Was that hard to do? Just quickly, sorry for interrupting there, but
that's fine.
To build that gym instead of the process and get it all sorted, was that like a hard thing to do? Or did you guys just?
No, I'm very much a go-getter kind of person. I reached out to a bunch of brands and said, here's an idea I have. So I work with, I was with another supplement company at the time, but it's now like Ghost. We have a big Ghost wall up in there. So they're like a supplement sponsor. So they pay for that wall as like advertising. That's part of my contract with them, which then in turn helps pay for our rent. Gym and Fitness are an amazing brand in Australia. They provide fitness equipment. So we did a deal with them and we work with them, and they've helped fit out the gym. So we paid like a much reduced cost for that. We've worked with JBL because they have like the full sound system running through it as JBL, because I work with those guys. So it's kind of everything in there all ties into the brands and the partnerships and the ambassador roles I have as well. So it's all a very seamless process, and they all made it a lot easier. So I went and organized, and Lane and I sat down and put together the list. Here's the equipment, here's our non-negotiables. And then Gym and Fitness came and like, hey, we have this thing as well, which you might like, or this bit, we don't have that, we have this. And so over time, we've gradually built it out. It's still not done. There's still bits of equipment. We're like, oh, we'll get that next time. Or we might we don't use this machine as much as we thought we would. We'll change it for this. Just trying to make it the best place for us to train at and also to film out of. Eventually, we want to run seminars out of there too. So once COVID is no longer a thing, we'll start doing that again, because we used to do seminars all the time back in the past days when the world was a bit more open.
Nathan the mic.
Yeah, fully. Well, I can Lane on the mic. I was often just the guy that does the demonstrations, and Lane would talk through stuff. And then, but it just gives you an opportunity to have that one-on-one thing, because we don't train in person anymore. Don't do any personal training. It's all run through the app. So it's a chance to meet with our members and stuff like that, have that in-person experience, which is really cool.
Yeah, dude, I love that. And like, how'd you feel sort of when everything was first set up? Because having your own gym space is sort of like, it's very deluxe.
When we still have that. Like every now and then we'll be like, we get to hang out here. We'd listen to I'm listening to heavy metal blasting and just like having fun. Me and my best friends. My other best friend's my videographer. So he's with me all the time filming and helping with that stuff. And we get to hang out and just have fun in our own space that we run. And that is such a cool thing. I never take that for granted. I'm very, very lucky. So
yeah, but you did build it for yourself, man. You did all the stuff. You go get it.
Yeah, I worked hard for it, but also I'm not naive enough to think that there wasn't blessings that came along the way and opportunities that were given to me that I just got very lucky with. I've worked hard with those opportunities, but I did still have things presented to me, and potentially as an outcome of me saying yes to other opportunities, as I said, but there is a bit of luck in there to allow that to be what it is now.
Oh man, that's so good. Well, man,
I love it.
Let's say thank you so much for taking the time and sharing all this wisdom on your show. For those who like don't know you or Milestone Strength or anything like that, where's the best place to go and find all of that good stuff? You
can check me out on Instagram, just at Nathan. It's a pretty easy one to find. Yeah, Nathan. It doesn't get much easier to find than that one. Yeah. And then obviously at Milestone Strength on Insta. They're the two easiest ways, and all the links are in our bio from there. So
awesome, man. And for anyone who's like, ready, standing on the edge, ready to take that first, foot forward to, start their own journey to better themselves and get fit and healthy and all this stuff, what would you
take the leap, learn to fly. You're never going to learn to fly if you're standing on the ground. So taking that chance, I think, is the key. Yeah, you're never going to regret it. The big thing with health and fitness is you're investing in yourself. You're starting something that's only going to make you a stronger, fitter, healthier version of yourself. You're going to feel better for it. Your mental health will improve from it. Like there's so many positives that come from it. One of the other big things that people have is that gym anxiety, being scared of being in a gym. And that's something I touch on all the time is like, everyone's in the same boat. You're never going to meet someone in the gym that's going to judge you for being in the gym. Unless the biggest people that get judged in the gym are those like big douchey gym dudes that are loud and obnoxious. If you're going in and being a bit nervous to talk to people, then know that everyone's in the same boat. So make sure like when I was training in gyms, I was trying to like wave and say hi to people and be friendly, because the gym should be a very inclusive place because everyone's there just doing the same thing, trying to get better in themselves.
Dude, so true. I also get like, I've been training for, I don't know, it's like getting close to 13, 14 years now. And every time that like I head into a new gym, I'll still get nervous.
Yeah, fully. It is. It can be a thing because like, oh, people looking at me, am I comfortable in here? But I think you just got to realize that everyone's there for the same reason. So it's, yeah, build a new community, make new friends. It's a good opportunity.
And say yes.
Hell yeah. Say yes.
Well, man, thank you so much for coming on to the show, bro. This was awesome.
Hey, a pleasure. Thanks for having me.